Morning, everyone. My name is Whitley Terriel, and I am here today with a friend of mine, Andrew Holmes, who is the Business Development Manager at ICS. And I've invited him on today to share with us how we can generate qualified leads with inbound marketing. So I know that some of you might be thinking, what is inbound marketing? And some of you already may know what inbound marketing is. So if you're a business owner or if you're a marketer, this talk will be just for you. So I'm going to just give people a minute to jump on to the live video. You can always catch the replay, but if you are live, you'll actually be able to ask some questions to Andrew at the end of the talk. So just give me a second here, and I'm going to go on and share the video with our group here. And just by I'm just curious to know how many of you are actually creating content for your business right now. If you are, comment yes. If you're not, comment no. I'm just curious to see how many of you guys are actually doing this right now. All right, so if you know anybody who owns a business, or if you know anybody who's a marketer, or anyone that you think that might benefit from this talk, please feel free to share this video, tag your friends in the comments, or invite them to join live. And again, you can always catch the replay later on, but it's always nice to get on live because then you can actually ask your questions at the end of the talk, which is always nice. All right, so I'm going to share this, send it out into Facebook before we bring on our guest speaker. So, okay, so basically, guys, by watching this video, what you're going to be able to take away from this is how you can actually start implementing some inbound marketing tools to start generating qualified leads for your business, which is super exciting. So, and I'm really excited to have Andrew on today because he is just, he's amazing when it comes to knowing your customer, reaching your customer, and selling to your customer. So I'm really excited to have him on. I'm going to bring him on in just a second. We'll let people share this out. I think we've got some. If you're jumping on right now, say hi, guys. Let me know where you're from, what business you're in, and we will bring Andrew on. Okay, so Andrew.
Hi.
Hey there. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So before we dive into this, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So, as mentioned, my name is Andrew Holmes. I work for a marketing agency here in St. John, Egypt. The name of it is ICS Creative Agency. My role here is the Business Development Manager. So basically, I help grow our business as the agency here, and I also help customers find ways to grow their business through all the different tools we have. One of which I'll be talking about today is, of course, inbound marketing.
Awesome. So now let's just dive right into this because I know that we only have half an hour to cover this and then also to cover some Q&A. So I'm just going to actually start off with our first question. What is inbound marketing? So
yeah, that's great. So inbound marketing is really one of those buzzwords right now in the marketing world. It's new and it's exciting and it's helping a lot of different companies. So there's a lot to it, but hopefully over the next half hour I can break some of it down for you and help you understand how it works. To understand what inbound marketing is, we first want to look at outbound marketing. So outbound marketing is your traditional form of advertising connecting with your customer. It's basically you doing an activity to search for new customers, right? So it'd be something like your television ads, your radio ads, your billboard ads, any type of advertising where you take your message, push it through a medium, and hope to gain customers from it.
Okay.
Inbound marketing is the reverse of that. It's basically your customers searching for you. So as I mentioned before, outbound, you try to find your customers. Inbound, your customers are searching for you. So what that means is that customers have changed the way they interact with companies, right? We know that most buying processes will begin online now, where someone will go to Google and search for more information, become more educated about what their options are for their concern or for their goal. So what you want to be able to do is to be there, be online, be in the space that they're searching for that product or that solution, and educate them along the way. So inbound marketing, to kind of sum that up, is being where your customers are online with engaging information or informative content that will help them understand how to buy from you. One thing I should mention too is, like, if you think about outbound marketing, some of the challenges with outbound are, it's hard to track the success rate. I did that TV ad and I'm not sure what happened with it. I don't know if I got customers or not. Radio ad, billboard, whatever. You don't really know. And at the same time, customers are increasingly getting, annoyed or bothered with this type of advertising. We want to listen to a song on the radio. We don't necessarily want to hear an ad and have it interrupt us. Or same thing with TV, right? So it's people are increasing their measures to block this type of content, block this type of advertising with, PVRs and satellite radio and all that stuff there. But with inbound marketing, because people are looking for you, it's more of an easier transition into being a customer. Right. And because they're looking for your specific product or service, once they get into and they're speaking with your team, that's a warm lead. They've identified themselves as someone that potentially would want to work with you. Also, because it's all online, everything's trackable, so you can see where your customers are coming from. Shift your tactics if you need to, things like that. And also, a lot of this can be done automatically, so you can set up your processes ahead of time and be hands-off and have your whole marketing system work for you.
Love this. So basically, everything's kind of leaning toward with inbound marketing nowadays. Would you agree with that, Andrew? I
would agree. And I'll probably get into this a little later. And inbound marketing isn't for everyone, and I kind of speak to who is good with it. Outbound marketing has a place still, but inbound marketing, if you fit a certain criteria of people who should be using it, you should definitely be investing the time. There's a lot of this is time driven to be adopting it. So, yeah.
And are there certain people who should be using it? Like, are there certain businesses that should be utilizing inbound marketing as opposed to others?
Absolutely. So, primarily B2B, so business to business, is going to be really good for this. Business to consumer can use it, but it's not always a good fit. The way you think about it is, is the decision making process for your product or service? Is it like trying to figure out what to have for lunch, or is it like trying to figure out who you're going to marry?
Right.
Both decisions are sometimes important, right? Like, I need to know what I'm having for lunch. But shorter periods of time and shorter amount of criteria you're going to put into hopefully your lunch compared to who you're going to marry. So if you're buying something simple like paper clips or pens, you're just going to go to the store and you're just going to buy that pen. There's not a whole lot to be educated on. You kind of know how to buy a pen. But if you're buying some kind of enterprise solution that helps you with your accounting processes or something along those lines, there's a lot to learn. So therefore, that'd be a better fit. Again, inbound marketing is all about the content creation. So providing great content and information. So it's about educating. So those people that have lots to educate on would be a good fit for inbound marketing.
Gotcha. So can you give us just a little quick rundown as to how it really works, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, recognizing the fact that 83% of all consumers go online to search before purchasing a product, right? So that's a huge number. People are going there to find out as much information as they can. So you have to recognize the fact that there's extreme value in being online because your customers are online, right? And where are they online? Where are they finding you? They're finding you in search engines. They're finding you on your blogs. They're finding you on social media. They're finding you on the online ads and banners and things. So they're finding you in all these different areas. So being there is what matters. And then what you want to do is take your customer through the buying stages. So you turn your stranger, so someone who has no idea about your product or service or your company, they're a stranger. Then they're a visitor. So they visit your page, they visit your content, they're now familiar with you. That visitor then turns into a lead, someone who's considering working with you. Then from a lead turns into a customer, and then from a customer into a promoter, someone who takes all they've learned from you and just continuously promotes it within their own network. So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, is it fair to say that most I mean, is that like a buyer's journey? Is that what you would call that? A buyer's journey or no?
Exactly what that is. It's
Okay.
exactly what it is, the buyer's journey. Yeah.
And I guess the more expensive the purchase, then the bigger the journey, or is it the journey more applied to?
You could certainly tie it to the ticket price of the item. So the middle part, the visitor leads area, and then before they become a customer, that area there can be the time can be a couple weeks to months, whatever, depending on how big the investment is, of course. So as you're in that lead stage, the inbound system is designed to constantly be feeding that lead relevant information through email, through more targeted ads, through constantly be educating them until they finally turn into a customer.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and I see this a lot. Everywheres, and maybe it's just because Facebook has targeted certain ads to me because it knows what I like, it knows my interests and all that. But I just find like there are so many businesses, especially online businesses out there, that are using inbound marketing, that sort of marketing. So if you're an online business and you're serving not B2B necessarily, but customers, would you think, like, does that still apply to you? So, because essentially we're all creating content. Like if we have a Facebook page, business page, we have a website, we're creating content through social media and putting it out there. So I guess, what is the ideal person to be really utilizing that inbound marketing strategy?
So again, like if you're constantly need to educate your customer or subscriber or whatever, then that's going to be great. At the same time, you can take this methodology. This isn't really part of like the whole system. You can kind of break that down into smaller pieces and say that, creating content and doing social media pushes and doing, things like you're doing now, Whitley, is engaging with your community, things like that through video. That part of content creation is still important to building your brand and getting people into your funnel of leads. It's going to be harder. Sorry, I guess I should say it's going to be, it's not going to be the same process as far as getting them to connect with you on, let's say a landing page. Whereas, if you were to click a certain ad and it says something like, download this free ebook for information on how to build a website for whatever. And you click that ad and it takes you to a landing page and it gets you to fill out information, and you're constantly being marketed to from that point. Not everyone can apply that because there's not a whole lot of information to be given, right?
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Right. So if your information, if the amount of information you have to give away is limited because your product, it's self-explanatory or whatever, then necessarily you don't have to go through the whole inbound marketing piece, but creating content on places like Facebook and so forth is still great for building your brand and creating that engagement.
Okay. I just saw a little comment come up here. Amy Allen, she says, only have a few minutes, but wanted to check this out. Anyone not watching is missing out hearing from Andrew. Thanks for that, Amy.
He's awesome.
So, my next question for you, because I know that there's a lot of women who are in the Skyple network, and a lot of them are service-based businesses, which vary a lot. So I guess, is it fair to say that the more that they have to talk about their service, the more education that they have to provide for their service, that inbound marketing would be the best way to go?
Absolutely. So, is there an example you can give me of someone a service someone may have, and I can kind of create something around that?
Sure. If anyone's watching, does anyone have a service-based or any type of business that they want to share? Courtney Sayers, she's from Hampton and she does tattoos. Okay, so maybe what about wardrobe stylist, Amanda Hansen. So Amanda is a wardrobe stylist, and she just launched her business not too long ago, Simply Stylish. Cool. So let's use her business, for example.
Okay, so wardrobe stylist, I'm assuming, because I don't have one, nor have I been really exposed to what that is. I'm assuming that's someone that helps people to pick out what type of clothes to wear to match certain occasions, or your style, whatever, right? So that kind of what that is?
Yeah, that's part of it for sure.
Okay, so let's say, yeah, sorry, what else?
Oh, I was just gonna say, so she helps women really like utilize their closets. So she'll help declutter, she'll help put outfits together, like and it's really about like uplifting women and bringing out self confidence. So yeah.
Okay, so what she could do, right, is there's a whole lot of content that could be created around what she does. And when I say content, and specifically for her, it would be maybe a blog post that's short, takes 3 minutes to read, and it's very specific to this certain subjects. So something that would make sense maybe would be 7 tips on how to more effectively manage your wardrobe, or 3 ways that having an organized wardrobe increases your sense of worth or your happiness, or creates a better day. Or here are 3 celebrities that use a wardrobe stylist to create a more productive day. Something along those lines that really educates to what the service is and how it can be used. What you want to remember too is that we live in an age where, we used to live in an age where everything was, when you're selling something, it's always be closing, always going for that next sale, right? Mm-hmm. We kind of shifted out of that because people are, I don't want to be sold all the time, and let me decide what I'm going to buy. So the current state is always be helping, right? So when you're looking at content creation, it's figuring out ways to give away. You're giving it away. Give away free information on how to buy and use your service, mm-hmm. and that can maybe seem like I'm not really getting paid for that. But that's fine because you're creating an engagement with your community that at some point, will turn into a client.
Okay, gotcha. That makes perfect sense. Amanda, does that make sense to you? You're still there? Awesome. Okay, so, and she says, yes, thank you. I'm very focused on sharing valuable content. Yes. And I follow Simply Stylish too, and she's very engaging with her content. It's great. Okay, so I guess you kind of shared a little bit about how we can apply it, but if you have some extra things that you'd like to share, Andrew, that would be great to see how we can actually apply inbound marketing.
Yeah, for sure. So again, when you're thinking about doing inbound marketing, the first thing to realize is that, again, it's not for everyone. Mm-hmm. You can apply content creation, that's a separate piece. You can apply that, and everyone should. But the whole inbound methodology of getting your customer or a stranger into a customer by creating quality content that's going to lead back to you time and time again, that is for people who have a lot of content to give. So that requires a lot of educational process behind it. Sorry, go ahead.
And typically, like, how much time should these businesses be spending on this area of marketing?
It's gonna vary depending on, again, how much content you have to give, how big your market is, that type of thing. But to start out, what I would do is create a schedule, right? Or create some kind of plan where you're going to publish the content at certain times. Before you do that, create a list of 5 or 10 different topics that you're going to write about. Mm-hmm. And then write those topics and have them prepared, have a library ready, and then just spit them out. When I first started
batch create that content beforehand.
Exactly. When I first started creating blogs and doing this type of thing, I really racked my head around around putting in all this content and doing it when I want to post it. And it would take forever to write it, and it wouldn't be productive, and then I would get it out there, and then I wouldn't do it for a long time because I remember how long it took me. I made it way too complicated. If I did all the writing in one mind space and one sitting, I could easily distribute it, and it was consistent, and it got the message across. Gotcha. So that was a big thing. Yeah. So that was a big learning for me.
That's really good. And then how should you schedule that? Should you plan and schedule that content creation? I don't know, a month in advance, 6 months in advance, a year in advance? What would be the sweet spot for people to take care of that?
Again, it's going to depend on everybody, but I have content that's created right now that's for the next year, and it goes out in a monthly frequency.
Wow.
Which that's just one part of my strategy, right? But then that's my personal strategy, how I relationships with my audience, and I do that on LinkedIn because it's for my audiences. Now, the agency that I work for, ICS, our marketing plan, we have more frequent content because we have a lot more to talk about. Okay, so we might be putting 1 or 2, 3, whatever posts out a week. So it's a lot different that way. But again, everything was created in advance and then it's scheduled. There's a lot of free tools out there, or tools that you can invest in that help you with the scanning and planning of your, or scheduling and planning of your posts.
And Andrew, when you're scheduling that content, like say, for example, you have a blog post that's going out. Now, how are you generating a lead from that? What's the next step from that blog post for that potential lead?
Perfect. So that's the piece of inbound marketing that really holds the value, right? And I haven't really touched a lot on it because I haven't had a lot of time. There's a lot that goes into this, obviously, right? But once you create a blog, okay, or you create some kind of information people are going to read through, there's going to be a call to action somewhere in that blog. So either you're scrolling down halfway through and a pop-up comes up and it says, subscribe for more information, or at the bottom will be another call to action that says, download our free ebook that has more information related to the subject, fill your information, click further. So once you get that information over, or collect that information, you've now got that lead, right? So then you have an ability to remarket them and talk to them and whatnot. But it's really from that blog point, or that from that blog, somewhere in there should be a call to action to get them one step further in the cycle.
And when they take that one step, I guess that one step further from the blog post, Andrew, is it basically you're collecting their emails? So essentially you're building your email list.
100%, exactly. So email is a huge part of inbound marketing because, again, it can be scheduled, automated, like I talked about before. It can be automated. It can also be very targeted, right? And so if you know that someone's coming in and they are a CEO of a small business or a smaller type enterprise, and you know what their key interests are, you can hit them with the content that's different than someone that owns a medium-sized business and has like 4 employees, right? So you can segment things differently. One thing to mention too is that a lot of people think that email marketing is dead or that it's spam. And a lot of email is spam. That's because marketers tend to buy lists of people to market to, and it's not always relevant to the person receiving it. However, if your customer voluntarily gives you their information and says, here's my email address, come and talk to me, that's going to be extremely valuable because they want that information.
Right.
So it's not spam anymore.
Okay. So email email lists, that's key to inbound marketing, obviously.
It is. It keeps everything moving. Yeah.
So I'm just curious for anyone who's watching this, just comment yes if you are currently building an email list or you already have an email list. And also, I had another question too for you, Andrew. What are some tools that we can use to build email lists?
Yeah, so we use, at the agency here, and something that we provide to our customers is a tool called HubSpot. And if you've ever heard of HubSpot, it's a huge marketing platform that does everything from managing your customers, managing your marketing messages, managing your sales, everything. So we use that to tie everything in. And then once the contact in our inbound marketing campaign, once it gets through to downloading the content or submitting for more information, then it gets entered into our system. So then we have a pile of all this contact information that we can remarket to. Gotcha.
So it's just a nice, clean little system that all your emails, all your potential clients go to.
That's right. Yeah, and it's something that we're spending a lot of time building, and it does take a good amount of investment and time to do this properly, and something that's constantly going, and then you're constantly growing with it. So I would just say be prepared for that, but know that there's a big return in the end.
Great.
And educate yourself, right? Educate yourself, because again, this is a small little nugget of how this works, but constantly knowing, or I guess increasingly your knowledge on how inbound works will help you be more efficient in it.
This is great. I know that I'm going to take a few questions because I know we have to wrap up here, but no, the way that you broke this down was very easy to follow, and I know that it's such a huge thing in online marketing right now. So this is great. I'm just going to go to Amanda. She says she's building an email list right now. So if anyone has any questions at all for Andrew, feel free to leave your questions in the comments and he will do his best to answer them for you right now. Amy Allen says, what email platform do you recommend? So that would be the HubSpot, Andrew?
Yeah, we use HubSpot, but we actually move a lot of our contacts into a system that we use internally. It's called Campaign Manager.
Okay.
Okay. It gives us the right amount of analytics that we need. It gives us the right amount of templates and tools and things we need to get out the messages. So it's called Campaign Manager that we have available.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, I see Anne Bonnell. She says, look at the two of you.
Hi, Anne. I bet she's crying right now.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free, drop them in the comments right now before we wrap this up. This was wonderful. So, okay, so Amanda says, how often do you recommend emailing your list? Is there a sweet spot with the number? What's too many? That's a good question. It's a really good question.
So first of all, there is a too many, right? Like there's a too many to the point where people they scan it and they know there's no value in the email, right? If it's in there too frequently, there's no value to it. That being said, depends on your business. So a client of ours is Vito's, right? So Vito's is a restaurant. They provide pizza and different things like that. So we would do something more on a regular basis for them because people eat more frequently, right? So we would do like every Friday, maybe there's an email blaster that says, here's the Friday special. Okay, so that would make sense.
Right.
But if you have something that's not purchased as frequently, back it up to maybe one a month, two a month, that kind of thing, right? And again, the key to it, more so than the frequency is the content inside of it. So if you're constantly providing value to your customers, right, then they're more apt to continue to open it. But if it's just doing email for the sake of doing an email blast, and there's nothing valuable in there, then you won't have them continue to open it, and it just won't be as successful. So, but that month to two, or one a month to two a month mark seems to be pretty popular.
That's great. I actually have a question to that, and sorry, I just was trying to get rid of this comment here. Okay, so basically, like with emailing and the frequency. So I know that I have a ton of people that I subscribe to, and I get emails from them like on a weekly basis, probably some of them on a daily basis. And I don't read all of them. Like I barely open any of them up. However, I'm constantly seeing their name. Like I'm seeing their name, their business, their brand. Right. So do you feel like even like how you said frequency, too much is too much. But again, like, would it go hand in hand with being top of mind when you're ready to actually search for that type of product or service? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So like part of our, like my personal for ICS, our strategy when it comes to creating email campaigns is that of course I want to provide great content. I want people to learn and engage with us. More so, I want them not to forget us, right? I want them to know that because I'm providing a lot of marketing insights and collateral, that I can likely help them with any marketing challenge they have. So, somewhere along the line of their own business, they might go, you know what, I can't figure out how to get this product to sell. I bet you those guys at ICS do, because I see their email in there once a month or whatever. So they, again, top of mind. So yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay, so let's see here. We have Amanda. She said, that's what I was thinking. I'm definitely going to do once a month newsletter. That's great, Amanda. And Tao says, I've been wanting to start my newsletter for a long time. Also going to be once a month. That's good. Yeah. So I guess that pretty much wraps everything up. I guess if anyone has any other questions, you can leave them in the comments. And Andrew will be so kind to check in and answer any of your questions for you guys. Thanks again. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that if we can, we can share my email somehow or get people that watch this my email. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can request a free evaluation from me to see if inbound marketing would be a good fit for you. Again, it's not always a good fit, but I can be pretty direct on that and see if it helps you. But yeah, if you want to email me your questions or email me for a free evaluation, let me know.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to drop Andrew's contact information down in the comments so everyone has access to that if you have more questions, and to also get that free evaluation. And if you're thinking about going with inbound marketing and want to go to an expert, you can contact Andrew. All right, so thank you again so much, guys. For everyone who was watching this, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much value did you gain from this talk? And I'm excited to see where you guys go with this and newsletter email building. I know that that's something that I'm working on as well. So great. Thanks again, Andrew, so much.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.